Good evening, everybody. So we are very happy to see all of you on our regular English Without Borders Thursday webinar series. And today we are very happy to host Gulchehra Ochilova, who will be talking about effective English teaching resources. And hello, Gulchehra, nice to see you. Welcome to the English Without Borders. And of course, we welcome all the participants who are regular attending English Without Borders online activities, and we also just welcome all those who joined us via Zoom. Dear participants, you can use this opportunity to put your questions in the chat box, and we will, after the presentation, we will pass them over to our speaker. So let me briefly introduce Gulchehra. Gulchehra Ochilova graduated with a degree in English from Tajik State's Institute of Foreign Languages in 2006. In 2009, she graduated from the Tajik National University with a degree in organizational management. Between 2013 and 2020, she was a coordinator and teacher of English in the Access program sponsored by the United States government. While working as an Access coordinator and teacher, Gulchehra gained valuable skills in managing a budget, planning lessons, developing a syllabus on national American holidays for all Access teachers. In addition, she organized professional conferences for all the Access teachers. This background has been valuable because she became the coordinator of the Resource Center at the Pedagogical University in 2020. She completed ALT Leadership Management Certificate program from TESOL in 2021. And also she completed a 1-month online course on digital skills delivered by the English Without Borders Network. So welcome, Gulchehra, and now I'm giving the floor to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Nasiba. Thank you very much for hosting me for today's EVB project presentation. So I like EVB project because you are guys doing outstanding projects for the English language educators throughout Tajikistan. So I really like your project. So let me share my screen. So as Nasiba already mentioned, so my name is Gulchehra Ochilova. So I am the English Resource Center coordinator. So at the Pedagogical University here in Dushanbe. So I work with American consuls. So I have been doing this just about 1 year. So I am working with staff so we can find better ways to help English language faculty at this university. So you might know English Resource Center used to be called library. So that's much more than that now. So we can also can call this American libraries. So we have books here, computers, and a lot of space for workshops, online workshops and trainings. So American Council has developed an English language resource center at the Dushanbe Pedagogical University. The goal of the project is to provide the university's English language department faculty with access to professional development opportunities, English enhancement training, and a better understanding of technology use in the modern classroom. So today I am going to talk about the resources we have at the English Resource Center and resources for my own teaching. So English Resource Center located at the Pedagogical University in Dushanbe. The program started from 2020, so it will finish in 2022, but it may continue, so it has extension. So our target is it's for professional teachers at the Pedagogical University. So our participant is more than 65 teachers. So it means pedagogical university faculty, English faculty, there are 65 English teachers, so they can use the English Resource Center. So the English Resource Center is like workforce for the professional development trainings, only for teachers, English teachers. So English Resource Center available from 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. every day, except on weekends. So why the faculty come to the English Resource Center? The teachers, they use new methods and adapting the textbook from the Resource Center. The teachers' use of the internet for new resources, so get internet resources for their daily teaching every day. Teachers need continuous professional development through workshops and online classes. So now, teachers willing to practice English and help students learn in all the skilled areas. So why do we have this English Resource Center project? So I want to emphasize two things. This project grows out of real needs of English language teachers and the English language learners in Tajikistan, and it's also outcome-based and result-based. The English Resource Center is outcome-based when we are making this because we really want to see better teaching training workshops and teacher training how to do these things better in their classes. So we did this whole beta activities. So we wanted to hold all kinds of teacher training workshops, on language workshops, on teaching methods, on holidays, food, sports. So we wanted foreign visitors to come and talk with students and to help educators and learners understand better how to use online resources. So a lot of people know how to use YouTube, but some people don't know how to use Google, and they often don't know how to use many other things like database, apps, MOOCs, so webinars, a teacher. So these are some of the many things that we have already started doing at the ERC. So now I want to show you some photos of ERC so you can see, as I mentioned you, so we have 4 desktops with very high speed internet in the ERC and like a workshop space for the teachers. So you can see the photos of ERC now, so how it looks like after the renovation. And yeah, so let's move on. So one of the purposes of the ERC is to conduct workshops as we adapted to COVID-19. So we had to do this online, but the good news is that these have all been recorded, available for English Without Borders and for English mentor program for mentor teachers. Here are some from the last year. So you can see the TOEFL overview I was written. The teachers also had TOEFL overview in December 2020. So luckily we were flexible. So we have good internet connections and we had switched many of these things online projects for as long as pandemic social distancing lasts. So also we had discussion on topics the teachers choose with Alice Britton. So most of the time, the faculty at the pedagogical university request their interest on topics. So we conduct the session by their curiosity and by their interest here. So the interns and the specialists most of the time so get their requests and prepare the topics and they work with them. So also we had professional development program with Lisa Mann from December to March. She was very great English language specialist, and she conducted like adapting materials activities for each stage of a typical lesson using like material design projects. So as I told you, all the sessions are recorded in the English Resource Center. So teachers can watch sessions later if they could not attend on time. Even the teachers who are attended the sessions, they can watch the sessions again to memorize them, for their daily teaching maybe. The teachers can get these recorded sessions on their flash drives and present them in their classes. And the teachers can share these recorded sessions, then they become mentor teacher in English Without Borders program, again in English mentor program. We call it ETM. So here, as you see the photos, these are our English Resource Center Teacher of the Month. There are 7 of teachers have already received English Resource Center Teacher of the Month by the help of English Resource Center. So this is a motivational award who can demonstrate outstanding methods using the resources taught by specialists, by interns. To be eligible, teachers must submit a video of themselves teaching or submitting a video of themselves training their colleagues. So we have a lot of teachers who have a desire to have more like to get the teacher of the month here. So this is all about English Resource Center. So now I'm going to share like some of the resources for my own teaching. Maybe it will be useful for you. One of them is critical thinking using pictures. This is one of my favorite resources, and I used to teach this activity a lot in Access program. So usually I give photos for the students in order to make predictions based upon the evidence in the picture. So it helps them to develop their speaking skills. So now I'm going to show you the photos. So can you see the photos? When I show these photos for students, I asked them to ask me like in two ways. For example, they wanted to act it, for example, they just wanted to make it conversation, like two-person. They just wanted to come like on two students and just act it out in front of all the students. And the second, they just talk about it. So what might come to their mind, you know? And I just can ask questions. Why is this happening? So what are they saying to each other? So see the frog and the mouse. For example, frog and the mouse. There was a float and the frog is saving the mouse, for example. The mouse and the frog are friends. So they are playing a game. The mouse helped the frog once in the past, and now their frog is carrying the mouse to a new home in order to save him time. So the second version is, it can be several versions and several predictions. The frog and mouse, thank you. So I would have drowned without your help. This is fun game. You are too heavy, go faster. So I can't wait to see my new home. Come back and visit me. The third version of this, it might be frog and mouse again. The frog will take the mouse to high rock, then swim away. Frog and mouse will invent more and more games. Mouse will forget about his friend, the frog. Frog will be sad. You can see that the different questions prompt different kind of imaginative thinking and language here. So you can ask the same thing from your students. It will definitely develop their speaking skills because I use this a lot during the Access program. So now, I don't know how it will work out. I need maybe 2 volunteers who may act out maybe these pictures. So you can choose from 4-1 maybe. So it's up to you guys. So any volunteers to act it out maybe? Any volunteers? So don't worry, it shouldn't look like in perfect way, but you can just act it out. So it doesn't matter. So don't worry about it if you are using like wrong predictions.
We had two people raising their hands, Nashiba and Firuz.
Okay, yes. Now I can see their hands. So just predict, use critical thinking. So what do you think, you know, the pictures as they happen in these pictures happening? What are they saying to each other? So what will happen next?
Okay, so should I go one by one with each picture?
No, you can choose just one.
Okay, yes. So Firuz, let's take the first one then. Yes, we can do the first. Hello, Firuz, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, unmute yourself because I don't hear you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes.
Yes, we are unmuted. Good. Thank you, Zebunisa. I don't know. For me, maybe the first picture.
Yeah, let's
Should I choose one of them or just start one by one?
We can, as Gulchehra said, we can choose one.
Yes,
and
for
maybe
now, please choose one.
Okay, maybe I will choose the second one. I mean, the girl with an animal. Maybe this is something to live in a peace with an animal. I think like this.
Okay, I can choose the first one. The first one is just, maybe the lawyer is kind of trying to calm down his colleague who got nervous, and like she's trying to say some comforting words to her colleague.
Or maybe it says that even if you are so rich, you shouldn't look from the people on the top. You should have to come down and talk to as a person, because human always should be kind.
Agree. Yeah, agree with you. Yeah. And the second probably could be like, in this picture, the animal helped somehow the guy, so they feel happy both.
To live in a peace with an animal.
Yes.
So, do you like these pictures? Yes. So now,
Sure.
so you can use it, with your students maybe. So it's important to give them like some kind of photos to predict maybe. So anyone else maybe? Any volunteers?
Hello.
Yes.
Can I take the picture number 2? A man with a cat. They're making high five. So what comes to my mind when I am looking at this picture, that they are the best friends. So the cat is a pet of this man, and I think they did something. They accomplished a goal. Maybe they had a mission and they did it, and they make a high five. So I think that they are partners in crime. Maybe they did something together and they fulfill it very successfully, and they make a high five. So I think this comes to my mind when I look at this picture. They did something special, maybe some. And a picture number 3 is very, as you mentioned, a frog and a mouse. Maybe they are best friend. They once maybe a mouse helped a frog. Now it was a turn for the frog to pay back the good deed. So that's why maybe the mouse is in the river and can't get out of the river, and the frog is there to help her. So one good deed, one good deed deserve another good deed. So this is what come to my mind. Thank you.
Okay. So I think we don't have any volunteers left, right? So let's continue maybe. But I have some questions for teachers. So while you watch these photos, what did you learn from this activity? So how could you use a similar activity in your classroom? So how can you determine students improve their speaking skills or no? So can you please write on the chat box maybe? So maybe Nasiba can read them to me. Okay, so Nasiba is writing how to use pictures to make students think creatively. Yes. Yes. Gulnoro, could these pictures give an opportunity for free thinking? Yes. Okay. So, okay. So try to use them with your students maybe. It's very good if you use critical thinking using photos in your classrooms. So next of the resources I'm going to just talk about and focus an overview about it resources because reading text and interesting activities. And again, critical thinking and making predictions. So today, for my presentation, I choose a text adventure of Tom Sawyer Mark Twain. So I think you have read this story already and you are familiar with this book, I think. You can find this book in internet if you are interested to read it or teach it to your students. The teachers often explain a reading text and then ask comprehension questions from their students. So it's good to get the people involved from the beginning. So it's good to get the pupils involved from the beginning. So one way to do this is through prediction questions. So tell your students that they are guessing, anticipating, wondering. It's a way to help them engage in the text better when they read it later on. So, so I choose one paragraph of Tom Sawyer book. So again, it's Adventure of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. So here is one paragraph I choose. Tom Sawyer lived with his aunt because his mother and father were bad. Tom didn't like going to school and he didn't like working. He liked playing and having adventures. One Friday, he didn't go to school, he went to the river. So let's predict. Let's predict. For example, what do you think will Tom Sawyer do? So what will happen to him? Did he have a good adventure? Did he have a home? So doesn't he go to school for many days? See? So let's predict. Let's predict why Tom didn't like going to school and he didn't like working, but he liked having adventures. One Friday he went to the river. So what do you think will happen to him? Why did he go to the river? You can expect the story may continue, yeah? So this is just one paragraph. You can still expect the story may continue. Maybe tell us about his adventures. So maybe tell us about his aunt. So who will he go to the river maybe? Yes. Those things are just from the beginning of the story. So I encourage you to tell your students to think the take in first paragraph or two paragraphs, whatever makes sense, and whatever they are reading, and have them think about it, have them discuss about it, because you want them to start thinking critically about the story. So, so any additional questions, if you may have, so what's the story going to be about? Yeah, after reading the first paragraph or two paragraphs. So here is the one thing I would like you to do while reading with your students. So I want you to find a sentence or two in the story that you like or that makes you think about something. So write a sentence on a piece of paper. So why do you like that thought? Why do you really like that thought? So when you're reading something really like this, for example, see, one morning before school, Tom's friend Huck Finn waited for him in the street. Huck didn't have a home, and he never went to school. People in the town didn't like him, but Tom liked Huck. Huck said, "Let's have an adventure. Let's have an adventure." So when you're reading something really hits you about it, reading, right? Like, oh, that's really sad. What's really great part of the story? So write it down, on the piece of paper. So I love all of the stories, but one of my favorite is Mark Twain because I choose this for this presentation. Think about this. Why do you think it's a valuable story? So as I told you, I encourage you to give your students, to find sentence or two in the story that they like, that makes they think about something. It's a very good way to predict and write their thoughts. So critical thinking questions. I try to give you simple versions of critical thinking questions to give your students. For example, we are going to start the type of questions to ask our students when we give them text. For example, robot, which is very simple kind of questions. These are concrete kind of things you can find in the story. Who, what, where, and when? What happened first? Who are the characters? So Tom Sawyer is a character already, so we know it. The detective. So why? What caused it to happen? What do you predict next? Judge. So in your opinion, what do you think? So do you agree or disagree? So would it be better if? So inventor is a little bit higher level question. For example, the student would change the story. So what would you do if, for example, yeah? So it's a little bit a higher level question maybe for the student to change the story. So these are the very good questions to use critical thinking. So next, I'm going to share with you online resources for teachers. So can you see the American English State.gov? This is a repository of activities for the FAL classroom. Teachers can find activities for reading, speaking, listening, and writing, along with issues of Forum magazine and many other tools. Entire books may be downloaded and issued, used for free. So now we are going to look at finding materials now. So I have a couple of sites to share with you, like AmericanEnglishStat.go, BreakingNewsEnglish.com, and you may know them already. And make sure to use them, and I still use them. I have been teaching English for over 10 years in Access program, and I still use this site, and I think they are great because they are ready-made materials or resources that you don't need to do much about. So you can just download them, or students can download them. They come with questions and answers and activities that the students can use. And some of the readings come with audio that are available to actually reading the story, someone reading it. So, so here is the first one, American English. this American English State.gov State Department website for learners and teachers. So it's with all kind of books, information that you can actually go ahead and download them and have ready-made them lesson. You can see a forum. I know you know forum, English teaching forum. So if you go to the resources, you can see teaching the 4 skills. Now I am going to click on that. Yes. Now we have see the 4 skills here. See speaking, reading, writing, and listening. And then you can see over here speaking. There are all kinds of books. All kinds of books. The everyday conversations. See the everyday conversations. Dialects. The color bubble chart. See the everyday conversation learning American English. These are the very good resources. I'm still using them. So here is the reading. It's all free to teachers to use. Lots of reading. If you click,
Gulchehra, yes. Gulchehra,
yes.
can you show it on your screen because we don't see that? Maybe just you stop doing your screen share and just start sharing your computer screen because then we'll be able to see that.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Can you see?
No, we don't see that. We just see your background poster.
Can you see it now?
No.
Okay, let me see it. Okay, can you see it now?
Now we can see that. Yes. Thank you.
So here is the English teaching forum, so you know it. Yeah, so most of you, I think you use them. So this is the American English State.gov department website for learners and teachers, and it's with all kinds of books, information that you can actually go ahead and download them and have really made them lesson. So you can see a forum. I know you know forum, English teaching forum. So here you can see the resources teaching the 4 skills. So now I'm going to click on that. So can you see? Yes? Can you see? Okay.
Yes, we can see that.
So there are 4 skills: speaking, writing, reading, and listening here. So all of them are available here. See? So you can see over here speaking. There are all kinds of books here. The everyday conversations, bubble charts that you can download easily. Here is the reading. See the reading, the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain. So see, if you go further, you can find a lot of books, readings here. So it's all free to teachers to use, lots of reading. So if you click, you can see text and audio. For example, if we go Edgar Allan Poe, so see, if you click on, you can see the audio, and it's also table of contents, yes, for your reading. They're all different stories. It's all free. So you can get the texts and audio files for listening. So these are very good resources. I still use them. The next one, can you still see that? Yes, so breakingnewsenglish.com. It's also a very good free resource. This is a website with news stories for FAL students and SAL students. It's free of charge, and the readings come with a pre-made activities for teachers to use. So see, so this is called Breaking News English. So Breaking News English has many news stories. So see, the many short stories. Yeah. So you can adapt them for second language learners, already adapted activities. Just you can go through and pick some interesting ones. So usually kind of short. So they have short paragraphs to perfect to use in your classrooms. They actually may do by level. You know, they have like all kinds of levels there. But this one, I think, for intermediate level. So you have to choose when you go to the site, so you can choose by level. So if you need, for example, elementary level, so you can choose elementary level, so the text will be for elementary level. So you can see it's not only have pictures, it's got activities, see? True, false, yeah? Synonym match. It's got discussions for students, where you can give this part of students pairs, so that they can be on pair and ask questions. So it has got role play on it, some spelling things. And you can see at the very bottom, answer key. See, the answer keys.
Gulchehra, you are
Yes.
showing a different resource, right? And we are still on our screen. We have Edgar Allan Poe Storyteller.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, just if you are just showing another resource, just can you switch to that resource, because we are still on American English.
I switch for the second one.
Okay.
Breaking News English. This is second resource. It's the website.
Yeah, we don't see that. Maybe just
Really?
yeah. We see just only on our screen American English.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, now we can see that Breaking News English. It's a great resource.
This is the next one I want to show you is called Breaking News English. So Breaking News English has many news stories like this, short stories, so you can adapt them for second language learners. So just you can go through and pick some interesting, usually kind of short, and have paragraphs perfect to use your classroom. So they actually may do by level. So this one, I think intermediate level. So you can maybe choose elementary level or beginner level for your students. So you can see it's not only the picture here, it's got activities. It has got already true false activities. Synonym match. It has got discussion, where you can give this part for students to pair. They can be on pair and ask questions. So they have got also phrasing matching, so role play. It's some spellings. So you can see On the very bottom, an answer key for you, so you can easily use it in your classroom. So as you can see, it's only short 2 pages. So breaking news, English and activity, we have story many different activities. Great the students read them. It's pre-made lesson for you. It's very easy. It's free, so you can use it. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, now we can see that. Thank you.
Okay. So this was all about the resources for I demonstrated for teachers. So now I want to tell you what is ERC going to work in the future? How? So I would like to emphasize 2 things. So where it's going to work and we expected and planned for, and where it's going to work that we didn't expect, and for which we had to be flexible. It's going to work in several ways in the future. So we have some books and other materials, but faculty members can also submit requests for new materials, like they can request for books, DVDs, apps. So they can also submit requests for other kind of workshops or trainings. These are all things we knew we are going to do. So finally, I want to talk about how we can make some connections between the English Resource Center and other things that are important for English language education. So first, we can make links with embassy-funded programs in our own country. For example, we can make connections with English teaching assistant, Fulbright programs, with English language fellows, with English language specialists, or Fulbright scholars. So we can also make links between the ERC and English Without Borders and Education USA, with students who want to apply to US colleges. Also, we can make a lot of connections with things that are not connected with the US Embassy. Lots of English language teachers in universities want to learn better teaching methods, and they can use English Resource Center resources. So we finally make English Resource Center connections with you and all of you. With other countries, we can try to find ways with learners and teachers in your countries. So we can use online methods to link up people all over the world, just like we are doing now for the English Without Borders project. But we could do this for a science resource, sport resources, a holiday resources, poster sessions, or many other things, and do this to connect learners whose only language in common English. So if you want like slideshow, how to access to the AmericanEnglishStat.gov, I'm going to show you this maybe, yeah? So let me show you how I did the screenshot. So can you see this? You can also, for example, use like some make some screenshots for your colleagues. It's very easy. Like I did it during the COVID-19. I created kind of teacher resource document the teachers can create while they're ready to send it to open. The teachers need to know exactly how to give a website or the website or a book will be useful for them. And I just gave them step-by-step instructions. It's also good if you have large websites with multiple resources and to divide them into smaller units. So I make this document by careful noting each step I took by using screenshots. So here. So I also put at the end some tasks that teachers can do in order to show that they actually read and use the document. That might be useful if you are eventually having a meeting and sharing ideas like with the teachers. So here I gave them the task, you know, to teacher class and then report back to the group what worked well. The teachers use it during the pandemic time. So that's end of my presentation, and you can access to the ERC Facebook page by using this link, and also here is the Facebook for English Without Borders program. So this is our website, so you can go there, and sometimes, most of the times, I post their methodology for using 4Skills, and all materials and resources are available for the English educators.
Yeah, thank you very much. Gulchehra, if you just we'll go back to your presentation. Yeah, so we'll see your last slides as well. Thank you.
Okay. So if you have any questions.
Yes.
To me.
Yeah, we have some questions here. The audience, please put your questions. We have a question from Fakhridin Khidirov, who is asking, like, what can you advise the teachers who teach in rural schools? How should they organize their lessons?
How they should organize their lessons. So again, there are a lot of resources. They're organized, like resources from the AmericanEnglish.go. They can go there. They are pre-made resources already, pre-made lesson plans.
Yeah, so the teachers can just adapt those, those templates and also just use some resources available there.
Yes, yes. There are many resources they can find on AmericanState.gov, US Department site. It's already ready-made. So you don't need to work a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the teachers also ask questions because in rural areas they don't have internet. We understand that. So in this case, we would recommend them like to get to the closest American space, which is located in 8 cities of Tajikistan, where they can have free access to internet, and also they will be able to print out the materials they need and also find on internet the resources that are available for English teachers using, like, the websites you mentioned today, and also their English resources that usually American space they also share. So yeah, the teachers, you can also use these resources as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Gulchehra, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
We know that teaching critical thinking is not easy because takes lots of time to build those skills. So can you tell us how do you use, or what methodology do you use to start teaching critical thinking from early ages, on, let's say, at the maybe primary or secondary level? So let's say just when the teachers start learning English, or at what level, and what kind of methodology they use?
So for using, like, for example, photos, critical thinking using photos, I use like any kind of photos to show the students to predict. I might ask them a question, so what comes to your mind, and you can predict, and you just tell it. And for the reading, critical thinking while reading, they can use all levels. So for example, if they take beginner level, they can make it for the higher level. So we have some sources, I think, but I don't really don't know which site can be like, they can make it like, for example, beginner level for higher level. So I think we have this kind of sites, resources, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we have another question. What resources do you recommend for teaching grammar in a communicative way?
Grammar in communicative way. You mean when they're speaking?
Yeah, so like when you teach grammar, like so the students learn it in a communicative way. Maybe just you know some resources that you can share.
So so I use a lot grammar in use book.
That's a book, yeah?
All
That's a
levels.
book. Okay,
This is
good.
very good. Grammar in use. It's very good and useful book for the. It has tests on it. After each, for example, activity, you need to take a test, and it has also discs on it. So it's very good. And also for the grammar, every day I ask my students to use present, future, and past. Every day they just tell me 3 sentences with present, future, and past. They use it, they use it in their communications every day. So every day when they come to the classes, they needed to tell me 3 sentences with, one with present, the second is with future, and third is. But sometimes, it was not easy for them, but they're used to it. You know, they were
Yeah,
very good at using it.
yeah. Thank you very much. And also we have a kind of a comment from Zebun Solo. She's saying, I like word game. It's good to make sentences.
Yes, I use it a lot. So you can also use that grammar in use. There are a lot of books called grammar use. It's also divided by the levels, so you can use it.
Yeah, another question we have. Do you know any tips for searching teaching resources on the internet? Like internet being a huge resource, and sometimes teachers don't know how to search for some materials. And do you know any tips for searching like teaching resources on the internet?
So as I already told you, I use these two resources, online resources. They are very easy to find the new materials and made the lesson plans, and they're free. They just write down americanenglishstate.go. You can go on that website and you can find the ready-made materials there. These the huge resources, are ready-made lesson plans, and it can be very good for your classes.
Gulchehra, question. So how do you think as a teacher, do the teachers need to use all those like ready-made materials, or do they need to adapt those materials to their students just to make it more easier for them to learn? Because sometimes, some teachers use a little bit higher materials, and that makes the learning difficult for the students. And what can you recommend in these cases?
So in my case, I use also like ready-made resources, like from these sites. Yes, it's very helpful, but I use different resources, not only from these sites. Yeah, so most of the time we use like American headway books, and we got we did the lesson plan from that book. And also these resources, it can be like extra additional resources for you to use. For example, you can't only stick on the American headway to teach your students. So it can be that different resources. If you for example go to this website, so it has an audio. If you want to listen it in real if foreigner is speaking, so you can go and find, for example, the lesson, and then listen on it and with your students, and also it can be helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So dear audience, if you have any more questions, please use this chance to ask your questions. So Gulchehra,
Yes.
I have a question. How often do you use songs to teach English?
Sounds? I use a lot. I use a lot. I encourage you to use the sounds like musics a lot. You know, it's very good for your hearing. So when you even talk with a foreigner, you can hear the different like speech of the foreigners, right? And then if you use like a lot of listening, like any broadcasts and maybe any news. So I used a lot American teen talks to my, during my teaching. I used to teach American because the adults talk a lot, that it's like you can listen for the American adults, how they just to interview, give interviews. It's very good when you listen, during your English teaching a lot.
Yeah, and then in many cases, like teachers use some videos, dialogues, or songs that are produced by native speakers of that language, which makes the learning quite interesting, and students get engaged in the classroom activities.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So if you have any more questions, dear audience? Okay. So, Gulchehra,
yes.
Using this moment, we would like to say a big thank you. Okay. A big thank you for your wonderful presentation. So, and we have the last question here from Mavluda. Do your students face any challenges when you use the resources from the internet? I mean,
yes.
do you sometimes adapt them? So
yes.
we have one more question as well. Okay, so you adapt them, yes? And what challenges do your students face when you use your resources from the internet?
Can you say it again, Nasiba? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, okay. So what do you recommend? So the question is, what do you recommend? So the question, do your students face any challenges when you use the resources from the internet?
I don't think they face any challenges, but first of all, they're very good resources. They just, I teach them, they can get easily into it. So also give them like materials for home readings and like tasks for the next class, as I show you in the reading.
Okay. So, and sometimes do you adapt your materials for your students?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So we have another question from Natya. Natya is our very active follower on Facebook. So thank you, Natya, for joining us. So what would you recommend for students whose level is really high and course book material is too easy for them and learning becomes boring?
Yeah, we already know that we have a multi-level classes. Yes, multi-level classes. In this case, I had like high level of students who had a very high English, and also like beginner level. So I know it's boring for the high level student who has a high level English, but sometimes I gave him the separate task to do while they'll do the another task. So sometimes I gave him like tasks to do while the other students were doing the extra additional tasks, in order not to get bored.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Using this moment, huge thanks to you, Gulchehra, for your very interesting presentation. So now many teachers learned about like American English and other resources that you shared today. And for many of those who didn't use these resources before, it's kind of a new discovery, and we hope that they will be using these materials because all the materials are located in one place and they are downloadable and they could be used over and over by using the templates which is provided on the websites. So thank you very much. And Dear audience, we thank you as well for your active participation and for asking interesting questions. Thanks for joining the EBB webinars, and wishing all of you to have a good evening. And we don't say goodbye, we say see you next week, because we are going to have another speaker, Laura Holland, who will be talking about new interesting stuff for the teachers. So please join us. And once again, huge thanks to you, Gulchehra.
Yes,
And stay with us, everybody. And see you soon.